To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
This is the best of Golic and Wingo podcast.
Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. I'm Adnan Virk in for Trey. It's great to have you with us. Mike Golic Jr. is along for the ride as well. As always, we are presented by Progressive Insurance and all of our phone guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. You had a couple of tweets, Mike, you want to touch on?
I did. First and foremost, we're wearing our spelling bee bibs because the National Script Spelling Bee is tonight. Always love that. Mine says Mike from Golic and Wingo, Willowick, Ohio. The number is 257. I don't know what 257 means. I think they're trying to go for my draft spot. I was 255, not 257.
Maybe it was like a circus trick. They were trying to guess your weight.
Yeah, maybe. That's pretty good. That's way over, though, by about 20 pounds.
Yeah, no, congratulations.
Yours
on the
is
fitness.
number 57, which was your number at Notre Dame, and you're wearing Trey Wingo's bib, and it has number 92, and we have no idea why.
Loved Reggie White.
But there you go.
Pride of Greenwich, Connecticut.
But the spelling bee is tonight. I know you and Jen Latta are doing the live Twitter show, so that'll be fun.
Yes, exactly. So a little bit of a cross-promotion here.
There you go. And then I got a tweet, and this happens all the time. I love when people tweet in to talk about they're going through the birth of a child.
Wow.
Right? Okay.
Awesome. Yeah.
Derek tweets in, catching some Golic and Wingo while my beautiful wife goes through this child labor. That's from Derek. Derek, who's your wife? Give us a name. Give her some pub. It happens all the time. I mean, at least he does hashtag she's doing all the work outside of, his short stint in this whole thing. But I mean, give your wife's name. Something. Give her a little bit of love. The guys always forget to give the wife's name. It's just stunning to me. But, hey, good luck anyway. Good luck to your wife, whose name we don't know, because, Derek, you didn't want to tell us as she's doing all the work. Hope it all goes well.
Wonder how many Dereks and their unnamed wives are having kids right now across this great nation. Like, we have no idea how to specify now.
Well, we don't, but this one is obviously watching and listening, so he hears me speaking to him right now, so I'm hoping he'll tweet back and at least give her name out. Give her a little love.
Fix it, Derek.
Yeah. Do it.
Clean it up, okay?
Do it right.
What are you doing over there?
Yeah.
All right, here's what's trending. NBA Finals beginning tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern on ABC and ESPN Radio. At last, we get our fourth installment of this series. The Golden State Warriors, a huge favorite to win their third title in the last 4 years. Second biggest NBA Finals favorite in the last 30 years. And they're a 13-point favorite in Game 1. How about this? LeBron James has played in 1,378 career games. That's regular season and playoffs. He's never been an underdog of more than 12 points.
But he certainly has been an underdog in the finals. This is his ninth, as you mentioned. 7 times now he has been the underdog. 2-4 in the previous 6. 1-1 when he was a favorite. Favored twice, 2011 against the Mavericks. Obviously lost that one. 2013 against the Spurs. Won that one. Game 1 is always interesting for LeBron. LeBron doesn't do as well, averages 21 points, shooting just 38% from the field, where in the other games he's averaging 36 points. So he doesn't come out of the gate strong in the Game 1. So we'll see. We still don't know about Kevin Love in this from getting out of concussion protocol and being able to play. We know Andre Iguodala is not going to be playing in this one. I don't hold out a whole lot of hope for Cleveland in Game 1, and this is kind of a familiar territory for LeBron being underdogged in the series.
Yeah, and it's funny because usually with this much time in between to look at and analyze this game, we talk ourselves into a little more hope for the Cavaliers, but this year the gap seems so wide at this point, and you're right, LeBron, the feel-out Game 1 for him with Andre Iguodala out. Now, how does that change what gets thrown at him from Golden State compared to what he's seen in past finals from them?
Also, hockey last night, the Washington Capitals defeating the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 to win their first ever Stanley Cup final game. They were 0-5 and even the series at 1-1. Braden Holtby had 37 saves, one of which was absolutely stupendous. It's one of the best saves I've ever seen. It's, in fact, the best save of this year for sure. By the way, 37 saves, second most this postseason. It's his 13th win this postseason, which sets a Capitals single-season record. And also, Alexander Ovechkin, one of the great goal scorers of his era, finally gets his first Stanley Cup final goal. everything coming up rosy for Washington, which was a very tight game, Mike. And that save, it was with 2 minutes to go.
2 minutes to go. I mean, 3-2 game, and the puck goes off the backboards. I mean, it goes to Cody Eakin on one side of the goal, pretty close to the goal, and Holtby goes to block that side of it. Eakin makes a pass right across the front of the goal to Alex Tuck, and I mean, Tuck has an open, point-blank shot that he is just, as he said after, should have buried it. How Holtby got his stick back there to block it. If there was any lift on that puck at all, that would have been in. But I'm sure Tuck didn't think he needed any lift on that puck because it was wide open. Holtby gets that stick around, blocks it, and that's all she wrote. What a monster save that was.
We had a lot of fun at the goalie's expense after game one, where these teams combined for 10 goals in a series we thought would be defined by goaltending, and Holtby very clearly putting his stamp on this now as the Caps even it up 1-1, but losing Evgeny Kuznetsov last night to that upper body injury. It looked pretty isolated in the upper arm, which is about as specific as I'm sure we'll get, but the leading goal scorer through the playoffs so far in the NHL, going to be interesting to see how they rebound.
It is that one, and you see, as I said, when you see a hockey player double over, they're in some pain, and he kind of got backed into and immediately looked like he almost grabbed his hand, but we don't know what the upper body, the arm injury is going to be. They've dealt with some other injuries, obviously, in this playoffs and come through it okay, but this is an important piece of the puzzle right here, who was in a lot of pain.
And how about the spectacle pregame? Always entertaining. We had the Knights going again.
Love it. It was the same show. I thought it would be kind of a different show, though. It was kind of the same thing. It's Vegas. I was hoping they would have mixed it up a little bit, but I dig it.
You want a little dancing showgirls?
Something.
Heavy Imagine Dragons theme last night.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Randy Couture in the house as well. I felt Cliff's clock coming. I just wanted to get Randy Couture in. All right, Tiger Woods tees off the Jack Nicklaus hosted Memorial Tournament in Dublin, Ohio this morning at 8:26 a.m. Eastern, so a little over an hour away. Woods has won the tournament 5 times in 15 attempts, but the last time he played was 2015. He carded his worst professional round at 85 on a Saturday. Woods is paired with Justin Rose, number 3 in the world, and Jason Duffner, who is the reigning champion at the Memorial. Check out feature group coverage this morning on ESPN+.
So we're to the point now with Tiger where he's made the last 6 cuts. There's more than a few people that think he's playing well enough that he's going to get a win or two, maybe another major. I hope he does. I don't think it's going to happen. But if it's going to happen, he's got to do better on Thursdays and Fridays. Right now, his Thursday score is at 71. He's ranked 103rd. A Friday score of 72 is ranked 178th. He's put himself in a monster hole in the last 3 tournaments, where he was Masters. He was 13 back going into Saturday, 9 back Wells Fargo, 14 back at the Players. So if we're now going to take that next step with Tiger, and that's on Sunday, be there and competing, and we know he's gotten close, and then he fell back, a little bit in some. If he's going to get there, he's got to do better. He can't be that far out going into the weekend and putting himself in that much of a hole.
Yeah, it was interesting. So Jack Nicklaus came out before this and said Tiger Woods needs to right now learn how to win again, learn how to get over that hump. And we always think of winning in sports, we backload it. We think of Tiger Woods on Sunday. We think of fourth quarter victories. But it really is that front end. It's Thursday and Friday where Tiger Woods has to learn how to put himself in a position to win again.
Yeah, and ultimately, Tiger Woods, listen, whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying nobody moves the meter like him.
Yeah,
right? There's very few guys in this world that are still so charismatic and still so beloved by so many. We'll see how he does today. Once again, check out the feature group coverage this morning on ESPN+. Golic and Wingo is presented by Progressive's Home Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever. Coming up 7:45, book it. Cannot wait for that. We also have a doctor coming up here.
Yes, we do.
Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. People that don't know the story, Mike, it's amazing. Kansas City Chiefs lineman.
Yeah, I was going to say,
is a doctor.
Yeah, you say doctor, and oh, by the way, his real job is a right guard on the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, so he's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Plus, we'll have more reaction here to this Brian Colangelo story, whether or not he used 5 burner accounts to send out tweets, not only defaming his own players, but also other people in the league. We'll get more sound, like I said, on that, including Adrian Wojnarowski weighing in there. But, of course, the moment of truth has arrived. Adnan Virk in for Trey today. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News, alongside Mike Golic Jr. as well. I don't know who the comeback player of the year is this year. I mean, it's only June almost. But I know who the comeback coach of the year.
And who would that be?
It's me. Last year, 1-8 as the Cleveland Indians bench coach. This season, Rob Hanawalt saw something in me. West Hartford Youth Baseball League. He said, you know what?
How old are these kids?
Grade 3, 4, and 5. So that's
grade 3, 4, and 5.
8, 9, and 10.
Is it kid pitch?
It is kid pitch.
Kid pitch. Okay, we're just at a kid pitch stage. Last year, you were the bench coach.
1-8 for the Indians. And Hanawalt said, you know, I see something in this guy. All right, he's got drive, he's got determination. Let's make him a boss. Sylvan Learning Center. I'm now the manager.
So you went from bench coach, 1-8 team, to manager this year.
1-8, not 1-18. Although it felt like 1-18.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's amazing what looking like Chris Chelios will get you in this world.
If you had played 9 more games, you would have been 1-18. Is that fair?
That's probably a fair point.
Okay.
However, this season things have changed, and we've just seen a renewed dedication to the game of baseball, quite frankly, and a dedication to, quite frankly, winning.
Yeah.
The regular season concluded. Would someone like to guess what the record is of the Sylvan Learning Center team coached by Adnan Virk?
So you're now the manager. You
That's
are
correct.
the head honcho. Well, I'm going to say it's better. So you won 3 games.
I think we did a little better than that, Mike. I just told you we had a renewed commitment to winning. That's not going from 1 to 3.
2 more wins. I mean, it's more winning.
It's a lot more vigorous than you think. There's 9 teams in the league.
Give me 8-0, 9-0 in this.
We started out 2-2.
Okay.
And then I rallied the troops. You know what? Listen, I don't know what you guys think is acceptable. I mean, I got 8-year-old kids crying. I'm like, listen, stop crying.
Yeah, there's no crying in baseball.
There's no big league chew either, for that matter. I banned that. All right,
Yeah.
unless you guys start winning.
Wow.
Ban more
Did you
seeds.
in the
really?
clubhouse.
Coach, you got any seeds? No more seeds. You win first, and you get seeds after. I'll buy the Gatorade. I'll take you to Chuck E. Cheese.
Wow.
Let's win first.
Wow.
Then
Sprinkles
we
are for
ripped off a 7-game winning streak.
No, you did
That is
not.
what I'm talking about. We then lost a couple of games.
Oh, okay. You got full of yourself,
Well,
huh?
yeah. There's no question we were reading our own headlines.
Yeah, okay.
12-11 of disputed late
You gave
calls.
them the seeds, didn't you? And all of a sudden you started losing.
However,
Yeah.
we finished the season on a winning note. And ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into the playoffs. Quarterfinals are this Sunday.
Yeah.
Sylvan Learning Center is the number 1 seed
Wow.
at 8-4.
Wow.
That
I want winners.
Yeah,
I
that's
want
exactly
people that
right.
want to win.
That's exactly what I'm looking for here.
So first and foremost,
Yeah.
let's be honest. Did you oust the manager? Was there a coup?
Was this a coup? Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Listen,
Let's be honest here.
Pat Cooney did a sensational
Whatever.
job, and he went in a different direction. I went in a different direction. It was amicable. We parted with it.
After a select group of photographs were leaked about him, and
Burner account tweets were released.
And the key here is, honestly, is this: strength in numbers, right? Surround yourself with people smarter than you. So I've got Mark Daigle, who's my bench coach. He also throws BP. I've got Dan Goldfarb, who tracks the pitch count. He's also strength and conditioning. I've got Jim Pisano, who's a pitching coach. I've got Jason Lavoie, who's my bench coach, also defensive position.
How many coaches?
I've got David Peters, who's a first base coach.
8, 9, and 10-year-olds. How many people you have
Alex
associated?
Pantages is my hitting coach. Like they said to us, they go, well, I want to have 1 or 2 assistants. I'm like, I've got 6 assistants. Once again, we're looking to win here. Okay, you can't add players, you can add coaches.
What are you doing?
It's volunteer based.
What are you doing for strength and conditioning for 8, 9, and 10-year-olds?
Do you want to know the ugly truth? We had some base running mishaps. Guys were running when the coaches told them not to run, and then guys were not running when the coaches told them to run. So I instituted a rule 3 games ago. Like, all right, guys, here we go. The next guy who doesn't run when the coach tells him to run is doing 20 push-ups at the end of the inning. Similarly speaking, if you run without permission of the coach, you think you can steal home, that's 20 push-ups. I've had 3 offenders so far. 2 of them struggled to do push-ups, but we somehow got through it. 20 may have been generous. I mean, they are 8 and 9.
So they're doing push-ups during the game.
That's good. I call them over and they go, oh my God. Like, one of the coaches knows Steve Ackles, who works here. He goes, hey, Adnan's coaching my Little League team. He goes, oh, how is he? He goes, oh, great guy. He goes, he's kind of a little more intense than I thought. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, oh, he's a good dude. He goes, but he makes them do push-ups like in between innings. He goes, that's it. Give me 20.
Bottom line is you're winning.
You are
No
the
more
Nick,
Mr. Nice Guy.
You are the Nick Saban of Little League Baseball. He's adding offensive analysts.
Holy smokes.
He's bringing over Boog Shambi and these guys and putting them in.
I'm glad you mentioned star power because here's what I need your help with.
Oh, boy.
Quarterfinals are this Sunday.
Okay.
Semifinals, if we make it, are next
Okay,
Saturday.
quit looking ahead.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely
Wow.
right. You're absolutely right. I had some guys going, all right, when's the final, coach? No, hang on a second.
Whoa,
One game at
whoa.
a time.
Okay.
All right. Quarterfinals are going to be on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Semifinals Saturday, June 9th. The championship, if we make it, Sunday, June 10th. And I've got to now, at this point, rely on my stars and the star power that I know.
Right.
Christine Lacey is coming to the game on Sunday. She's going to offer support and star power.
And baked goods.
And baked goods if they win.
Please,
cute.
God.
I've got some friends in the business. Aaron Boone's the manager of the New York Yankees. Alex Cora's the manager of the Red Sox.
Right.
We make it to the semifinals. Maybe we'll do a live FaceTime with the manager of those teams.
Right.
Maybe a tape message from Aaron Boone or Cora. Now for the championship game. Here's where I need to lean on you two guys.
Okay.
You live in Avon. You guys are relatively close by.
Yeah.
What do you think you can offer for the championship game? Maybe throw in a ceremonial first pitch?
Oh, I'm not going.
No. You have to go. If we
No,
make it, no.
I'm not going.
No, live remote. This is in the
I'm not
contract.
going.
We're going to stream it on ESPN Plus. I'm going to listen. I got plenty of people that we can talk to here in the building.
Let's inspire kids, Mike. They go, oh my God, it's Mike Golic and Mike Golic Jr. They're going to play their hearts up for you guys.
Now, wait a minute. You're going to expect us to show up and root for you. What about the other team who maybe listen to the show and are saying, wait a minute, the Golics are rooting against us. Now I got 8, 9, and 10-year-old kids crying. What is that all about?
We don't really care about those guys.
Yeah, we don't have time, Dad. You know what? They're going to be the losers in this situation anyway. We're about winners on this show. I just sent a text message to Jimmy Pitaro. We're going to get this thing on ESPN Plus.
That's what I'm talking about.
You may have heard of him. He's the president of this fine company. He's doing some great things around here. We're going to get this on ESPN Plus. Get the set out there.
West Hartford Youth Baseball League Championship match coming your way, ESPN
You
Plus.
are setting yourself up for a loss in the quarters, talking about the finals.
It would be like Miracle on Ice type upset. Like if we lose that game in the quarters, I'm telling you, I won't be able to come to work. Shameful.
Man, are you just damning yourself
How about
right
you show up as the umpire? Like it's an Enrico Palazzo thing, a naked gun.
The big reveal.
Can I sing the national anthem?
I think it would be amazing.
That's amazing. Well, congrats to you,
Thanks a lot,
even though
man.
you sound like you're running a kind of a tough ship there.
Well, listen.
Holy smokes.
You learn, okay? You go through trials and tribulations.
Can I ask you a question?
And you know what's fun? Winning's fun, guys.
Can I ask you a question?
Forget the orange slices. Let's win.
Can I
This
ask
is the Patriot way of Little League Baseball.
any kind of question? Are these kids actually having fun?
Well, let me say this.
Yeah.
On average, I'd say I have about 2 or 3 kids crying every game. Now, it's not through my demeaning, vociferous ways, but they just put pressure on themselves. They strike out and they start crying. So then I can be a big softy, arm around them. It's okay, guys. But deep inside, I'm fuming. So I just say, it's all right, guys. Hang in. It's okay. It's baseball. It's all right. It's a game of failure. Hang in there. What are you doing? I got to move this kid down next time. Jeez, well, struck out again.
Wow.
You're in ninth.
Healthy scratch for the next
Holy
game right here.
smokes, DNP, huh? Coach's decision. Wow.
I
Well,
think-
congrats on the better record. I'm a little...
How about this, though?
Yeah.
Friday is the All-Star game. I'm managing the All-Star game.
Wow.
So I've got I got 4 All-Stars, of course, we're the number 1 team, and then I've got 3 All-Stars from 3 other teams, and the other team's got 5, etc. Point is this. It's the All-Star game. My guys all want to pitch, and I go, dude, it's the All-Star game. Like, take it easy. It's Friday night, relax, Wolcott Park. Sunday's the playoffs. But they're thinking as kids, the All-Star game. No, I want to pitch, I want to play.
Sure.
How do you tell kids to go, hey, just go at half speed in the All-Star game? This is inconsequential. It's an exhibition game.
I remember way back when I was going to coach you guys, you and Jake and Sydney and all your Little League stuff, and my father, God rest his soul, said to me, it's going to be the most fun you ever have in your life. Because your son's on the team, correct?
Yeah, Yusuf is excellent speed.
Of course, he said it's going to be the most fun you ever have in your life. He said, but it's going to be the other coaches, managers, and parents that will ruin the experience. Now I know exactly what he's talking about. Oh, my God. Dude, relax.
Listen,
Holy smokes.
I reward them when the incentives are there, okay? I brought M&Ms and we beat the first place team like M&Ms on me. And honestly, if we win, whatever they want, I will give it to them.
There we go. Pay the players.
Wow.
Yeah.
There
Pay
it
the
is.
players.
Yeah. We'll get them on Golic and
I
Wingo.
don't know what to think right now.
Last thought here from Brett Parada before we move on.
If you have your guys in the All-Star game pitching, pitch counts aside, you're going to ruin their confidence if they get beat up by the best players in the league on the other team.
Sure, you don't want to get shelled before the playoff.
My ace is like a young Mike Messina. He's like, I want to pitch, and I go, no. I go, it's 1 inning pitch. Like you get 20 pitch. To Brett's point, it's 20 pitches per guy. So I might be like, hey, 10, you're out. See ya. Confidence. It's a very mentally fragile team. Adnan Virk in for Trey today. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Let's sound off on this Brian Colangelo story. It's brought to you by ADT. Considering home security, consider this. For 140 years, ADT has helped stop more crime than any other home security company. Visit ADT.com to learn more. All right, Brian Colangelo.
Yeah.
So the latest when it comes to Brian Colangelo, of course, the league is investigating. Here's Adrian Wojnarowski chiming in, ESPN NBA insider.
This has to move quickly for them. This is the credibility of their organization. This is an organization that on the court has been on the rise. They have a lot of options to help their team this summer. They can go out and get a max free agent. They have a slot there. They have a lottery pick in this draft. And so they need to know what their leadership's going to be. Is it going to be Brian Colangelo, or is there going to be another change in leadership?
So this is where it gets interesting. And yesterday we sort of threw it out there. Would it matter if we found out that it was someone else? You heard some super conspiracy theorist saying maybe Sam Hinkie's at the bottom of this. But you mentioned this. We had seen Roger Goodell's wife came out and admitted that she had used fake accounts to go and defend her husband to the masses. Now we've got, with everything else in this circumstantial internet-based evidence that leads us to believe that maybe Brian Colangelo's wife is involved. So the account at Did 76ers Win, a great source in all this, but tweeted some screen grabs that indicate Barbara Bettini, who is Brian Colangelo's wife, in an email. It has the rest of her cell phone number blocked out, but you can see the last 4 digits and the last 2, which are 9 and 1. On Twitter, the way it works is if you want to go in and change your password, it has that verification system with your cell phone attached. So if I wanted, I could go and try and change the password to any Twitter account that I had the handle of right now, and it would say, we're going to send the authentication code to this cell phone number, and it blocks out all the numbers and it gives the last 2 digits. The last 2 digits linked to 3 of the burner Twitter accounts are 91, the same digits that account for Barbara Bettini's last 2 digits on her cell phone number that supposedly surfaced in an email. And what adds to this further is Rich Hoffman, who writes for the Athletics Philadelphia branch, tweeted out yesterday some screen grabs of tweets from Eric Jr., one of the prominent fake Twitter accounts mentioned in this whole report done by The Ringer, was tweeting about the same issues being discussed in a press conference. February 11th, 2017, Brian Colangelo was part of a presser before a game talking about Joel Embiid's previously undisclosed torn meniscus, while at the same time, Eric Jr. is out with the timestamps to match up and prove it, tweeting simultaneously about this going on, in theory stating that Brian Colangelo wouldn't be able to both be at that press conference and tweeting from the burner account at the same time. So it's opened up to the idea now, people wondering, did his wife create these accounts? Is she behind it? Did he maybe use her cell phone number to make these accounts? Because the information is still very sensitive. The issues and the ramifications are still there. But now we've introduced another player into the scenario.
Oh, my gosh.
Right, because that was the biggest question. They go, well, how could they really link these up? Like, is it circumstantial? But we all know, the three of us, if there's evidence, he's going to get caught. You can link these things. You can find out this stuff.
Right. And also, if his wife is involved in this, is it still you're defending your husband like Roger Goodell's wife was? But in this case, there is information about trades. We can get into the legal side of this, about trades, about injuries that take it further than just defending your husband.
If it was just the wife, Mike, let's suppose you're Sixers manager.
Right.
If it was just the wife and it's, bedtime conversations, he's just telling stuff to his wife, she tweeted it out there, would you still remove Brian Colangelo?
Well, I mean, they say what you're responsible for, your family members tweeting, Jake. I mean, it's kind of, supposedly.
That'd be bad news for me, I'll tell you, because they're not going to hold you accountable for that.
That's a tough go. Again, because there's one thing to defending a person. There's another thing to putting out information that shouldn't be put out about trades and or injuries that then cross the line.
You've compromised the team.
Right.
You've violated what we'll get into, a number of laws that could certainly come into play. And most importantly for the organization, the trust between the players, the rest of this front office, and your maybe former president.
Golic
and Wingo.
and Wingo.
Mm-hmm. Trey Wingo and Mike Golic Sr.
Kansas City Chiefs offensive guard, Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. That's right. I just said Chiefs offensive guard and doctor. He joined us in the Shell Pennzoil Performance line, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Can I call you Laurent or can I call you Doctor? What's more appropriate here?
Honestly, however you want. Honestly, Doctor, kind of feel good right now.
All right, Doctor, let's go with this here. For those who are unaware, Laurent, or Doctor, you're a terrific football player, as I mentioned, but you wanted to become a doctor, and now you graduated from medical school. How in the world did you pull this off?
It's kind of something I promised myself back in 2014 when I got drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs. I told myself, you know what, I'm 2 years into medical school, and I want to be able to complete it. So I had 2 years left back in the days, and over the past 4 years with the Chiefs, I've been balancing both. As soon as the season's over in Kansas City, I'm flying back to Montreal, starting clinical rotation. I've been doing psychiatry, OBGYN surgery throughout the past 4 off season in order to be able to graduate yesterday. So it's an awesome feeling.
So, Doctor, back in 2014, you mentioned you were a couple years into it, then you were drafted in the 6th round by the Chiefs. You were also drafted in the 3rd round of the CFL by the Calgary Stampeders. So we always talk about in football and the NFL, they want players that are focused on football. That's all they want them to do. When you talked to Andy Reid, when you talked to the Kansas City Chiefs about what you wanted to do, what did they say?
Well, Coach Reid was really awesome. I remember when I was doing my pre-draft visit back in 2014, I had a chance to talk to him about my project, and he was one of the only head coach who kind of really understood what I was trying to do and saw the whole medicine thing as a positive thing, you know. And since then, he's been like really, really flexible. His mother actually graduated from McGill in medicine as well, being one of the first women to ever graduate in medicine from McGill University. So I think there was kind of a connection, and I think Coach Reed just loves when players are trying to do also things outside of football, and he knew that medicine for me was a passion, so he tried to support me. So honestly, like, just the way he's been flexible with me and honestly trusting me that I was going to be able to train back home while studying was a big part in me being able to accomplish my goals.
So, Doctor, in that regard, because you said Andy Reid seemed like the exception, were you ever worried that this might be something that would be held against you in the pre-draft process, something that teams might look at as a distraction? Was there ever any concern on your part?
Yeah, I think of course, and I think it's legitimate in the sense that, you know, I'm a French Canadian. I played football back in Canada. I'm a medical student. Like, there were a lot of like question marks over my head back in the days. But at the same time, you know, I think if you show up to a pre-draft visit and you commit to the whole process by going to train in the States and everything and putting medicine on hold for a couple of months in order to do that, like, that shows that you really love football. So at the end of the day, that's what the coach are looking for.
As we tease the story, right now we're talking to Kansas City Chiefs offensive guard Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, right now Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN News. We said finally there's a story about football and doctors, which is a positive story. Now, as a doctor that plays football, what concerns do you have about head injuries?
I mean, the risks are out there, of course, but I think what's really reassuring is the whole process that the NFL went through over the last couple of years in order to try to make the sport safer. Like, we've seen different regulations put in place, different protocol in terms of head injury put in place, and I think as a player that reassured me. But what reassured me the most as a doctor is like the conversation. You know, people are talking about it, players are getting more and more educated about it, and now there's not as much of a stigma around the concussion, and it's like not a normal thing, but people are okay with talking about their symptom, and I think that's the biggest thing, because we all know that concussion now, for the most part, that's subjective, and it's based out of a symptom in order to make a diagnosis.
What type of doctor do you want to be when you can be a doctor, I guess, full-time at some point?
Yeah, I really love emergency medicine. That's something I took a lot of fun in doing those clinical rotation. I did over 4 months of emergency medicine over the past 4 years, and it's really something I like, you know. And I think there's a lot of similarity between football and emergency medicine in the sense that, you know, there's a little bit of that adrenaline rush, and you never really know what's going to sit through the door. And you also need to be able to like eliminate distraction in order to make like a rational decision and kind of eliminate the stress out of the equation in order to stay calm and be logical. So I think there's a lot of similarity with that in playing offensive guard. You know, when it's like 3rd and 10 and you gotta convert in order to go score the touchdown, you gotta remain focused.
I'm also thinking of the physical side of this. Now, to be a doctor, you have to use your hands. You play a position in a sport where hands get made. I've seen a lot of linemen, both offensive, defensive, after they played with their fingers pointing in different directions. I mean, is there any concern at all about injuries to your hands to being a doctor?
Yeah, of course, but I think it's also like specialty specific. Like, of course, I don't think I'm going to be a neurosurgeon after I play football, but I think for emergency, like having big hands, sometimes it's also a big advantage. You know, when it comes to like manipulating patient and doing different procedures. So we'll see. Honestly, like, I want to play football and I love playing football, so I want to go 100% in that, and we'll see after. Depending on how I feel, but honestly, I think it won't be an issue.
Talking to Kansas City Chiefs guard and Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. Now, we have to ask the update everyone's looking for. Have you heard back from the NFL on the prospect of getting MD on the back of your jersey for the upcoming season?
No, I haven't heard anything, to be honest. I heard some rumor, and what I know for now is that the rules are the rules, so we'll see what's going to happen in the next couple weeks.
And just for everybody out there, I just want to hear the name of it. What was the most difficult class you took? What was it called?
Honestly, internal medicine was probably the toughest 2 months of my NFL career so far. You know, I remember it was after the 2016 season. I flew back to Montreal, and like literally 3-4 days after, I was starting internal medicine, which is basically like a sicker population of patients, and you're there like from 6:30 in the morning until 8, 9, 10 at night. So it was really a struggle combining that with training and everything. So that was for sure the toughest 2 months I had.
Doctor, as a proud Canadian, I'm so proud of what you're doing for all of us. And, by the way, Mike Golic's dad played in the CFL, Mike Jr.'s grandfather. So listen, we can appreciate the fact that what kind of breed you have up there when it comes to football. And last one for us, what's better, Labatt's, Molson's, or poutine?
I'll go for poutine. You got to choose the right one, you know?
No, there's no question about it.
Good man.
McGill's finest, Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Doc.
Congrats.
Hey, thank you so much. Have a good one.
Golic
I tell you what, a great sports night last night, no doubt about it.
and Wingo.
What a day, what a show, what a time.
1, 2, 3, 4.
At Trex, we know there's a place for wood in your backyard. We recommend the fire pit. But when it comes down to choosing the right material for your next deck, look no further than the superior beauty and durability of the world's #1 premium decking brand. Trex delivers the look of wood without all of the work and the worry, and it's made from 95% recycled materials, which makes it the right choice for your backyard 100% of the time. To learn how to make Trex your next deck, visit Trex.com to order samples.
I don't know how else to say this, so I'll just say it.
What is it, Linda?
I think we should see other people.
Are you breaking up with me? On a roller coaster?
Well, we do have a lot of fun. Maybe we should stay together.
An emotional roller coaster? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I just need a little me time.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
This is an interesting phenomenon I stumbled upon, that if you just add book it to the end of any phrase, the shorter the better, it makes it immediately a hot take.
Owen says, Jaguars win the Super Bowl, book it.
I like Tim's poutine.
Book it. Man, that's a strong point from Tim.
That is. LeBron is Toronto's kryptonite.
No.
Book it.
I like Steve's better. Josh Allen will break a table before the season starts. # Bills Mafia. Book it. SportsCenter is brought to you by Discover Card. Become a new card member, and Discover Card will match all the cash back you've earned dollar for dollar at the end of your first year. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Adnan Virk in for Trey. Today we are Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. That's the voice of Mike Golic Jr. You can always hear him on first and last weekdays, 4 to 6 a.m. Eastern. And one of the best segments that Mike does is something called Book It.
Book it.
For those who are unaware, Mike.
Turn your mic on. You are a professional.
My fault. Book it. Just basically, I agree with you. If you just say book it and say it with some conviction, then, it sounds believable.
And let me tell you what, it is sweeping this great nation. Yeah. The hot take multiplier, you just add it to any statement. I've heard Stephen A. use it. I've heard plenty of athletes use it, so we're getting there.
All right, so you're going to read these to us, and we're going to either book it or not book it.
Or not book it, yeah. No, this is nothing like Love It or Shove It at all. So we got a music bed. We ready to go?
Not one bit.
All right, here we go. I'm going to read you guys the statement. You decide to book it or not.
Okay.
A 4th straight NBA Finals between the Cavs and Warriors is good for basketball. Book it?
Wow.
Book it. Because honestly, I don't want to see the Celtics without Kyrie. I don't want to see the Rockets without Chris Paul. So I'll take one of the best teams of my era.
You can book it.
Showtime basketball and LeBron James. What's better than that?
I'll book it as well because...
You can book it.
We're getting the best players in the game. I mean, at the end of the day, I want to see the best players play. LeBron James is the best player in the game. Kevin Durant's one of the best players in the game. Steph Curry, you can go on down the line for Golden State. So if you're giving me the best players in the game, that's what I want to watch.
And I think more importantly, I'd agree with you guys and book it because this could be the last time we see this matchup. LeBron James. Decisions to be made this offseason. The Warriors face some contract issues. Going to be interesting. All right. The news of the day. Brian Colangelo was not the one behind the burner accounts other than the one he admitted to.
Wow. I don't know where to go with that one. That's
book it.
You're going to book that?
It is too absurd to think a 52-year-old two-time executive of the year is sitting there with 5 burner accounts. Maybe it's the wife, maybe it's a close friend, colleague. Book it. It was not him doing all 5.
But the bottom line, though, is if his wife was doing them as well, did he know about it?
He's not complicit.
To me, that brings it all in there, so I'm going to book it.
You can book it.
I'm going to book it and say he knows about and or is part of some of the others.
Yeah, but the question was not the one behind it. Book it. So you're not booking that.
I don't know. I'm confused now.
The construct of this one was loosely constructed at best. I am actually going to not book this one either.
Okay, so
I do think he was behind it, and I think we need to remember that rampant insecurity is common in sports, and it is not limited to just 20-somethings. Despite the success they've achieved, men in their 50s can exude this same behavior as well. All right. The Rockets will sign Chris Paul to a max contract in July. A lot of legs to this one. Book it.
He's 33, eligible to sign a 5-year, $205 million extension. His starting salary would be $35.3 million.
Absolutely book it, Mike. Where's he going to go? Yeah, you can book it. Yeah, it's Chris Paul. I know he's 33, but where's he going? They know the Rockets know he's one of the best point guards in the game. They're keeping him. Who are you going to replace him with? Book it.
This team was one game away from being in the finals.
Yes.
Now, what are they? With X amount of players, they have $76 million, I think, built up in cap money. With Capella, they have to possibly do an extension that could be $25 million a year. I'm going to book this as well.
You can book it.
You're one game away from the finals. I wouldn't mess with the chemistry you have on this team. Keep it together and try and beat the Warriors.
I'm going to book it with you. The bigger question would be, is LeBron James joining him in Houston after this Supermax deal? All right. Now let's get to the good stuff. Being mistaken for Chris Chelios was a top 5 moment in Adnan's life. Book it.
Well, listen, I've got 3 wonderful kids, wedding to my wonderful wife, Eamon. I met Robert De Niro. I've been to the Oscars twice. Forget all that. You can book it. Yes. Listen, Chris Chelios is the Stanley Cup champion. He played 25 years in the NHL. I'm looking at an athlete. I'm Chelly.
For those that may not have heard the story, Adnan was in the airport with a Team Canada hat on, and 2 guys actually came up and took a picture of him, thought he was Chris Chelios, and Adnan played along, said he was. These guys sent pictures to their friends with Adnan thinking they were taking a picture with Chris Chelios. You absolutely can book this.
You can book it.
You can absolutely book this. I know you have a lovely wife and a lovely family that'll take up the first 4 of these, but this is definitely in the top 5.
There you go.
Chris Chelios has abs. Book that. That's all you really need to know about this.
You can book it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Law and Order. Okay, sorry.
All right, and finally, in honor of the Scripps National Spelling Bee coming up tonight, you can check me and Jen Ladd out, ESPNU, ESPN Plus, ESPN3.
Yes.
You would win a spelling bee amongst this staff here at Golic and Wingo. Book it.
There's no way I would. I mean, I'm a horrible speller. There's no shot. Now, again, I look past this glass here and look at all the knuckleheads in here that I should be able to beat, but I don't think so. I
would do well, but I'm not going to book it. Stanzik and Parada, both excellent spellers. I think it's a 3-horse race. I'll throw myself as the bronze medal, but I think that those 2 are the favorites.
Golic and Wingo.
It was all sort of one big giant Jell-O mold.
It's very interesting where that went.
A guy who always brings the thunder. Our man Stu Gatz at the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. You can always check it out 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio. Stu, we have so much to get to. It is always a delight to be with you. And first and foremost, can you spell Cinephile, the name of my podcast?
The C in Cinephile is for Chelios, right? I don't know. Can someone lift that graphic a little bit? Because there's a graphic in front of your T-shirt, and I can't see how to spell Cinephile. Cinephile.
That is what I'm talking about, baby.
Well done. Yes.
Listen, and this is why you're unbelievable. Because you have a question mark at the end of your statement, but you knew it with such certainty. That was an exclamation point, but you just, a little misdirection there. You knew it all along, Stu.
It's a good job out of you, Stu.
If you asked me, to spell just about any other word in the English language, I probably would not have gotten it right. But Cinephile, I've got that thing committed to memory.
That's a good job. So as we're looking into all the different directions we can go, let's start in the world of social media and what's going on with Brian Colangelo and burner accounts, what we've seen before from Kevin Durant and Roger Goodell's wife as well. This one, they're talking about 5. He admits to 1, doesn't know about the other 4. What has been your guys' take on this whole thing?
I mean, yesterday we had some fun with it, trying to, come up with some conspiracy theories, because it seems too obvious to think that this is Brian Colangelo. That Brian Colangelo, who has been an executive of the year, I believe, in the NBA and who's 50-something years old, would be that insecure to go with 5 burner accounts to defend himself against the critics. So yesterday we were just having some fun, thinking that maybe it was Sam Hinkie who was kind of behind all this, trying to get his job back. And now apparently some reports are out there that maybe it was Brian Colangelo's wife. So I don't know. Are you guys buying that? 5 burner accounts? Colangelo, there's too much detail in there to think that Colangelo didn't have something to do with all 5 of these burner accounts. That's like the new, hey, my Twitter account was hacked. We just pin it on our wives. That's what it kind of feels like to me. And I got to tell you, Mike, I don't know about you, but if my wife had a burner account, she wouldn't be defending me. She'd be mocking me relentlessly. What do you think?
Well, that's why we'd know it'd be her. They'd say, well, it can't be his wife because this account is ripping him. We're like, oh, no. That's exactly what his wife
she can't stand him. That's
would be doing. You know, it is something to joke about. There's no doubt about that, up to a point, because some of this stuff, Stu, the information going out, you know, about injuries, about trades, that's where it gets to the point like, okay, if he's involved at all in any of this, he's going to be gone because you're just going to lose all trust in him, even though we do have to wait for the investigation to finish.
Yeah, the players will lose trust in him. The organization obviously will lose trust in him. Potential free agents, which is a big deal for that Sixers team in this offseason, will lose some trust in him as well. So it's going to be interesting. Mike, Adnan, what do you guys think? Because I think if he's behind this, if he's behind all 5 of these, let's say it is his wife or he used his wife's phone number or he gave his wife information to kind of tweet out, it's still, to me, he's going to get fired. Does he ever get a job in the NBA again?
I don't think so, Stu, because it's such a breach of trust, right? I covered Colangelo with the Raptors. I thought he was a nice guy. He was easy to work with, a little sensitive, but most people are sensitive. I was listening to you and Dan yesterday. I totally agree. When you have child insecurities, you carry those the whole way. He's always had this label of being, because his daddy's boy, and Jerry Colangelo is such a famed executive and has had such cachet in the game. So it's not completely implausible, but I just find it tough to believe. I honestly, I'm starting to buy the wife argument. Maybe I'm just talking myself into it, Stu, but I say, all right, maybe you confess some things to your wife. She's trying to support you. It goes from there. It just seems too outlandish for a 52-year-old 2-time executive of the year to stoop to this level.
It does, but that insecurity thing is an interesting one, Adnan, because you're right. If you have that as a kid, that's going to carry through your entire life. And so if Colangelo is behind this, just trying to maybe see it from his standpoint, he's getting no validation for this. Like, everyone's giving Sam Hinkie all the credit, and no one is giving Brian Colangelo any of the credit. Now, Sam Hinkie deserves the credit. Colangelo does not. The one pick Colangelo is responsible for here is Markelle Fultz, who could have had Jason Tatum. So, but he doesn't feel any sort of validation. When everyone talks about the Sixers, they talk about Sam Hinkie and how he put this team together, and they talk about Brett Brown and what a great job he's done as coach. They talk about Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. No one is mentioning Brian Colangelo, and I guess even at the age of 50-something, Adnan, we're all looking for some sort of validation with whatever it is that we do for a living, and Colangelo is getting none right now. So, I mean, listen, and that insecurity is a powerful thing, man. If he feels like he's not getting any of the credit that maybe he deserves, then maybe I could see why someone would go to Twitter and do something like that.
Now, we'll see what the 76ers investigation turns up, and we'll go from there. We're talking to Stu Gatz from the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. Let's go to the game 1 of the finals tonight, 4th year in a row. It's the Warriors and the Cavaliers. Any chance, any way, I mean, we've all talked about this ad nauseum, that you can see the Cavaliers pulling this thing off?
Yeah, there's a way. They have LeBron James. Like, there's a way. And Iguodala is at least out for game 1, and that's a very important part of their team, as you know, especially on the defensive end of the court. Listen, Golden State hasn't looked right the entire season, hasn't looked right really the entire postseason as well. And LeBron is playing at a level that I can't believe. I cannot believe his game has been ratcheted up to another level at this age. I thought we saw the best of LeBron when he was down here, and I think we're seeing the best LeBron we've ever seen right now. So, yeah, I mean, listen, and those of you complaining about the finals matchup and the fact that we're getting these two teams for the 4th consecutive year, what else do you want? It's the best player in the world versus the best team in the world. You can't ask for much more than that. It's a better matchup than anything else that the East could offer. I mean, sorry, Adnan, but the Raptors, who wants to see Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan shrink in the NBA Finals? No one wants to see that. I think LeBron can get it done. I know every single expert we have has taken the Golden State Warriors, so I will go the other way here. I will take the Cleveland Cavaliers winning a 7th game on Golden State's home court because LeBron goes for 50 in that game.
Well, you and I both know Kyle Lowry would go for 30 and 10 if he was in the NBA Finals, but I guess your opinion has some weight in some matter.
Yeah, he'd go for well, you're right. He would go for 30 and 10 in the NBA Finals if he could get past LeBron James in the Eastern Conference semifinals once in a while. You're right, Adnan. Yes, you are right. But we'll never see that happen. As long as LeBron's in the East, we'll never see your Raptors in the finals.
That is true. Are we making too much of Iggy not being in there? Is that Steve Kerr not playing woe is me card, but trying to say, listen, this guy's a vital piece? He's not one of the 4 of the top 20 players in the NBA, but as Golic was pointing out, he defends LeBron better than anybody else in the team. Much ado about nothing, or something to hang your hat on if you're the Cavs.
No, I think it's a big deal. I think defensively, he is a guy. He's like the perfect kind of guy to kind of match up with LeBron James in terms of his height, his length, all that kind of stuff. And he's a great defender. So no, I do think that is a big deal for the Golden State Warriors not having Iguodala. The Golden State Warriors lost a couple of games. There was that back and forth. There were reports out there where Mike D'Antoni told Kevin Durant during Game 7, if we had Chris Paul, we would have won this game tonight, to which Steve Kerr responded, if we had Iguodala, the series would have been over in 5 games. And I happen to agree with Steve Kerr on that, because they lost some games that they don't usually lose, and they played in a way that we don't usually see this team play. And the one guy that wasn't there was Andre Iguodala. So yeah, I think he's pretty important. Look, we look at Durant, we look at Curry, we look at Clay, and we look at Draymond Green. But there's this quiet guy, Iguodala, who gives you 8 to 10 points a game, but plays great defense. And that's going to be, that's going to be a big, kind of miss for those guys, not having him to match up against LeBron James. And then maybe you have to put Durant on LeBron, right? You don't want Durant spending that much time or that much energy on the defensive end of the court.
Talking to Stu Gatz, Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. Those that may not know, Stu Gatz, a former intern at Madison Square Garden and a Clark University grad, where he played lacrosse and has some records on that lacrosse team. So also you're a big golfer as well. Tiger's getting ready to tee off in about 10 minutes or so at the Memorial, looking for his 6th win there. Are we getting to the point now where, okay, we've heard enough talk about, we think he's going to win, we're starting to play better except for Thursdays and Fridays, but making the cut? And do you think he has a win in his bag coming up soon or not?
I absolutely do, guys. He's playing. I mean, listen, it's been consistent now. It's been for, a good period of time where he's played, some pretty good golf. It's not the Tiger that we saw in his prime, but listen, we'll take it. It's Tiger. He's back on the PGA Tour. Yeah, I think he's going to get a win here. I don't know if it's going to be the Memorial. I'm hoping that it might be the U.S. Open that's coming up in a few weeks. But I absolutely think, listen, I'll take it one step further, Mike. I think he's going to be healthy the entire season. I think Tiger will grab one of the next 3 majors. I do. I think he'll win the U.S. Open or the Open Championship. Or the PGA. Like I do. I think he's going to win one of the next 3 majors here. He will grab a major this season.
That would be awesome to see. We're talking with Stu Gatz. You can always see him on the Dan Le Batard Show, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern, and of course the local hour as well. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Now to the moment of truth here, Stu. West Hartford Youth Baseball League, Sylvan Learning Center. I'm 8-4. We're in first place. And honestly, I run a tighter ship than you might expect. Now, I am well aware of your prowess as a girls lacrosse coach.
Wow.
You've gotten kicked out of tournaments. You can appreciate the fact that, right, when guys are not paying attention and sloppy base running mistakes, I make them do push-ups. You're an advocate for something like this, right?
100%. In my case, it's girls, okay? But 100% because I'm coaching girls lacrosse. Adnan, I am so proud of you. I really am, because you're right. You have to surround yourself in life with good people. Look, I sit next to Le Batard. He's basically made me. So I know what I'm doing. And Adnan, I'm telling you, heady play, because on my lacrosse team, I have 2 defensive coordinators. I have 1 offensive coordinator. I have a goalie coach. I have a strength and conditioning coach.
Yes.
You got to surround yourself with good people. That's what you got to do. Listen, the key to life is surround yourself with good people so you don't have to do anything. I just show up, I coach the team, I yell at the referees, get kicked out of tournaments. But Adnan, you will love this. I actually got kicked out of a tournament, kicked out of an entire park up in Wellington, Florida, okay? Kicked out of an entire park. Now, the referee after the game told me, you can't coach anymore. Get out of here. And I said, what do you mean get out of here? Like go on the parent sideline? She said, no, get out of here. Get out of the entire park. So what I did is I went to my car and I came back, Adnan, you'll love this, with a Bobby Valentine type disguise.
The mustache.
No, I did. And I sat on the parents' sidelines and I coached the kids from the parents' sideline. How about that?
This makes my week.
Are you guys listening to yourselves at all? Are you guys are
win at all costs. First of all, who is this bonehead referee who's evicting Stu?
Wait, you're 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, Stu. How old are the girls that you're coaching?
Now, my girls are 14 right now, but at the time that this happened, Mike, the girls were, I believe, 11 or 12 years old. So.
Oh my God! You are the coaches my dad warned me about. That said would ruin it for everybody else.
I gotta tell you something. No, Mike, I got to tell you something. In Adnan's defense, I'm telling you, the problem isn't the coaches. The problem isn't the parents. The problem are the referees. I've been saying this for a while.
Yes.
Youth referees.
You mean the volunteer referees?
Yeah. Yes, it is all about the referee. They make it all about themselves. It's the one time in their lives that they have complete control over everything, an entire situation. They can kick they're the most relevant they've ever been when they're inside the lines refereeing a game. They have total control, and they abuse that power. They do.
All right.
They really do.
All right. You both nauseate me as coaches. Let me go down this road. Let me go down this road. A couple of guys took a picture with Adnan thinking he was Chris Chelios. Who have you gotten people telling you that you look like?
I get Clooney all the time.
Come on!
I get Clooney all the time. No, Adnan, listen, I heard your story yesterday, and I loved it. Team Chelios. I hope Andrew Brandt is a part of Team Chelios moving forward here. But I heard, listen, you got to think faster on your feet here, Adnan, okay?
Yeah.
So you were looking for an email address, right? But you didn't want to give him Adnan's email address, right? You got to come up with something quick. Like, it's got to be like Chelly@yahoo.com or the captain@yahoo.com or Chelios82 or whatever it is at yahoo.com. And then you text, like, one of your producers, someone Stanzik, anyone, and say, hey, quickly, get me a Gmail or a Yahoo account, right? And then you tell the guys, listen, you don't send me this picture for at least an hour because the account is new and it's not active yet. I need to activate it, right? You just got to think on your feet, lie a little bit there. That was a bad job by you. But I will tell you this, Adnan. I will tell you this, another baseball story. The Marlins won the World Series in 97. I was working for the Florida Marlins. Wayne Huizenga, who was the owner at the time, was nice enough to give every employee a World Series ring. So I got a ring with my name on it. Now, my real name, for those of you who don't know, is John Wiener. Okay, that's the real name. Stugotz actually is such an awful name, but a better name than my actual real name, okay? But the real name is John Wiener. In 97, the backup catcher for the Marlins was a guy named John Wehner, okay? I think it was Wehner. I'm Weiner. So I spent 2 single years of my life down in South Beach, new to the area, walking around with a World Series ring, and anytime anyone asked me about it, I would give them a quick glance so they couldn't read that it was Wiener instead of Wehner. I would tell them that I was John Wehner, backup catcher for the Florida Marlins, and I was part of the 97 Marlins team.
For the record,
I got to tell you, down in Miami in the bars, that worked well, Adnan.
Wow, that's impressive.
Stu, I'm sure that played, and I'm proud of you. John Wehner's 6'3", 205.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, what they don't know is what they don't know, Adnan, okay?
Now that's impressive. That is very, I dig that story.
It's a great point, Stu's right. I'm so upset, Stu. Like, the Chelios stuff is great, and listen, it's a great compliment. People told me the Stugotz is strong in me, but you're right. I just wish I had that evidence, right? But that's a good point. It's not a burner account. It's a falsified email address. Hey, send this to me, guys. We'll hang out some time, and then you go from there.
Right. You got to do that. Adnan, that's what next time it happens, next time you're in an airport and someone mistakes you for Chris Chelios.
Unbelievable.
Now you know what to do. The first thing I did when I heard the story is did a Google image search on Chelios. I got to be honest. You look exactly like him. It's funny. I didn't realize that until you told the story, but you really do.
Last one. Team Chelios. More like Team Chelios or Team Ben Stiller? Because I get both quite a bit.
Wow. I'd go Chelios. I mean, before yesterday, if you asked me that question, I would have said Ben Stiller, but I got to go Chelios now, man. I wonder if people mistake Chelios for you. That'd be funny.
Well, we're trying to get Chelios on today, and he's avoiding our call, so we don't think he wants to talk about it.
Yeah. My highlight is
I'm shocked he's avoiding the calls, Mike.
Yeah. My highlight is his career low light, and he wasn't even a part of it. Stugotz, always the best. The Dan Lebertar Show with Stugotz, 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. Eastern. You're the best, buddy. Bobby Valentine's story is one for the ages.
Thanks,
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Golic and Wingo.
Let's not expect too much. There's only one person out there that's expecting way too much out of this guy too early. We know who that is. It's his father.
Caron Butler joining us in the studio again with Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, best phones, best networks, no contracts. Great to see you, man.
And likewise.
NBA Finals, Game 1 tonight. No one's giving the Cavaliers a shot. Are you giving them more than a puncher's chance?
I mean, you can't count them out just because the simple fact that they have LeBron James. And what we've learned over this, playoff run, specifically in the Eastern Conference, is that he can outplay 2 or 3 superstars. Mm-hmm. He did it with Toronto. He did it in, the Boston series, young stars on the rise. And, Indiana, he did it also. So, being on this platform, on this stage, I just don't see it happening. They got so much firepower. You look at Draymond Green, you look at Andre Iguodala is out, obviously, but KD is a wash. He's so unique at an offensive standpoint. Steph Curry found the stroke at the right time. Great momentum going into the finals. I just don't see it happening.
So take us on the court with Andre Iguodala being out, a guy that's guarded LeBron the most. So we know they have other, obviously, superstars on that team. But is there a trickle-down effect of who has to cover more minutes played somewhere? What could be the domino effect?
Well, I think you're going to see Draymond Green on him a ton. You know, you saw Al Horford on him a lot in the last series. He was able to, you know, move his feet and, you know, be able to be mobile enough to stay with him. And he had the strength and the body and the poise and understand the tendencies of LeBron. You know, KYP, know your personnel. He definitely understands that. So, but KD is going to be on him for the most part, I think. And the reason I say that is because they're a wash at that position. He's the only guy in the association that's a wash with LeBron James. Whereas if LeBron scored 30-some points, guess what? He could score 30-some points. If LeBron get 12 to 16 rebounds, KD, you know, is going to get 8 to 10, and he's going to get the assist. So they're a wash at that position. I think that's the guy that really offsets LeBron.
We're talking with Caron Butler right now on Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN News. And maybe more of a reason, Caron, to believe if you're a Cavs fan is this has not been juggernaut Warriors. This has been a team that beat the Rockets in 7, but at times has looked vulnerable, at times has looked a little bit defeated. Third quarters have been unbelievable. Durant at times, ISO-heavy offense. Do you think that Golden State really kind of puts the pedal to the metal here and overcomes whatever hiccups they had, or is this going to be a tight series?
Look, I think they're going to play with a ton of pace. I just don't want them to look too far ahead and get too confident. And, you know, don't plan a parade already. You know, deal with the matter at hand and understand that you cannot ever overlook a team with LeBron on it. And I think every team that has been defeated in this playoff run has learned that. And, you know, it's been a taught lesson for all of them. And LeBron is, you know, going into the finals with, you know, really no pressure, you know, playing with house money. And that's a great situation to be in.
So you played against LeBron in Dallas, right? In 2000?
Dallas, and got knocked out 3 times in Washington. So I've seen enough of them.
But in the finals, though, in 2011. So what's the difference you see when he was playing then and in his game now?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. And, you know, I think his ability from an offensive standpoint, you know, he is the guy. You know, it was a lot of questions on who was the guy on that team, and he stepped up and emerged as that guy the following season, and they was able to accomplish that mission and winning a championship. But offensively, year 15, this is the best that I've ever seen LeBron look. And, you know, he's aggressive. He's in the mid-range. He's scoring. He's knocking down that jump shot where, you know, that season in 2011, he was amazingly efficient in the paint. Him and Dwayne Wade, I think, was top 3 in the league at the time. But, you know, to see him, you know, operate 17 on in now and not just relying on, you know, driving the ball to the basket is amazing to see.
Golic and Wingo reminding you, NBA Finals on ESPN Radio. Tune in for Game 1 tonight as Durant and the Warriors host LeBron and the Cavs, presented by Indeed. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern on most ESPN radio stations. The craziest story of the week, Caron, has been Brian Colangelo. And this, exactly. Can't even say it with a straight face. Allegedly has 5 burner accounts. As a player, you're Joel Embiid, and all of a sudden you go, hey, man, yeah, exactly. How many phones does this guy have? How much time does he have in his hands? And he's sending tweets. What's the worst part of it? Sending tweets about your own guys, sending tweets about guys you traded, or sending tweets about your fellow GMs and guys who used to be there.
All of it. It's all terrible. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, the slogan has to change immediately if, you know, Brian Colangelo is going to, you know, remain in that position. Trust the process. Trust goes right out the window.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that, you know, from a player perspective, you know, you want complete transparency from the locker room, obviously, all the way to the top, the coaching staff and to the top and right back on down. And, you know, to see someone, you know, on a burner account, you know, saying so many things about you. You know, me, if I was on that team, you know, I would have got on my burner account and tweeted back. You know, we would have had beef, you know, but, you know, it's crazy just to see that situation, and hopefully it pans out with the independent investigation that they have going on.
But in like free agents coming in, people that aren't part of that organization, how difficult is that going to be? Because even the investigation may turn up nothing, but still people are going to have questions. So how does that read to a person if you're a free agent looking at them?
Look, I mean, trust is never going to be complete. You know, that concrete will never be able to, you know, settle in because you're always looking at that situation with a side eye. It's like, how can I trust something that I knew that probably happened or could have happened, and where there's smoke, there's fire. And I definitely believe that it's something there. And, you know, it's just it's a bad situation. You know, it really is.
Little Twitter view questions here for us. So we got Philip here asking, how'd you get the nickname Tough Juice?
Coach Eddie Jordan with the Washington Wizards. You know, and I got the name just because I kind of played through pretty much anything, and he was just like, "You are tough, you know the rest."
Yeah.
So the name Tough Juice is kind of connected and it's stuck with me ever since.
Coy wants to know, who's tougher to defend, Kobe or LeBron?
Ooh, you know what? I would say, obviously LeBron difficult from a physical standpoint, but Kobe is just, he dissects you. He's a killer offensively and defensively, and he puts you in the phone booth. A lot of y'all don't know what that is, but it's it's a vertical where you're in a situation that's the place where Superman used to change, and you're in a phone booth and he's operating it. Everybody in the world get to watch him dissect you.
Good answer. This one's from Jimmy. Is it true you played with a straw in your mouth?
Every game.
That's unbelievable to me.
Every game, and Mark Cuban was like, keep playing with it. They start finding me, and he was just like, whatever.
Not a normal size straw where it's sticking out of your mouth or anything.
McDonald's straw. Every game.
How?
It was good for my nerves.
Did it have to be McDonald's straw?
McDonald's straw.
Yeah,
really?
Yes.
Every single game.
I would pull up at a McDonald's, run in, grab a handful of straws. They'll look at me like, "Stop, thief!" Pull off, keep going, no matter what.
Did McDonald's ever sponsor you?
No, they never sponsored me.
That's unbelievable. And did anybody say anything? Did anybody try and stop?
After a while, they just started handing it to me. But, the commissioner at the time, David Stern, he was finding me. But Mark Cuban said, just keep rocking with
Wow. Well, that's a Cuban thing. That sounds a lot like Cuban.
Most player-friendly owner in sports.
That's right? My guy.
Yeah, without a doubt. Love him.
All right. Here's what I really want to get to. I'm wearing my Cinephile shirt today. Caron Butler has been on our podcast because Ben Lyons was at the Sundance Film Festival. For those who are unaware, that is one of the preeminent festivals in the world, independent films, documentaries, etc. It's amazing that you were there. You have a passion for movies, and this is the most incredible part, you and Mark Wahlberg hooking up in a story about your life. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so, I wrote a book probably 3 years ago, Tough Juice, My Journey from the Streets to the NBA. Mark Cuban was a, great friend of mine at the time, and he said, hey, look, when you're done with this book, pass it along to me. And make a long story short, we end up partnering up to do this movie together. We're going to go in production later on this year and, have it up. So I'm just excited because, I know it's going to, affect and impact so many people. You're talking about adversity, overcoming it, and, being consistent in life. I think that's what it's all about. And, no matter what's thrown at you, finding a way to get through it. So it's amazing.
So, we always ask the fun radio question, the fun throw out there of, if you had a movie about you, who would you want to play you? You get to really do that.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea yet at this point?
Yeah, we're going to do casting, and, the script, it really bases on, my life as my teenage years. Obviously we was pursuing Michael B. Jordan in the beginning because the script was a little different.
Right.
Nice.
But now it's focused on my teenage years only. So,
So Denzel's out.
Denzel's out.
Denzel's kid's probably out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's trust me, we coming. It's gonna be special.
That is really cool.
How involved are you going to be, Caron, as far as looking at the script, production, being on set?
Yeah, I've been part of every bit of the process. Me and Jason Liu, we did the script together. I was, bugging him night in and night out. Lev, Mark, just being a producer on this project, and Mark actually starring in and being the cop in this movie. So it's going to be amazing.
Are you going to make an appearance in the movie at all?
I might.
Nice.
Oh,
Little cameo appearance. My producer Dan Stanzik and I were at the Oscars, and we saw Kobe shortly after he won.
That was amazing.
I've covered him a little bit, but I never seen him that giddy. Like, he was so hyped in that moment. And you know what it's like, because listen, you used to being a star, but you're at someone else's party, and you've achieved the pinnacle, right? You won an NBA championship in the movie community. Like, it's as great as Kobe's accomplishments on the basketball court. Winning the Oscar is unbelievable.
I was so happy for him. And, listen, Kobe usually takes probably, I'll say, 15 hours to text you back. And when I text him at that moment, he texts me back immediately. And it was a special moment, and I knew it, and he was feeling it, and he was just on, cloud, whatever. And I was so happy for him, as a brother, as a friend. I was just like, man, that's amazing. Like, he continues to just raise the bar and just strive for some things that we all appreciate.
So, again, we're talking to Caron Butler, two-time NBA All-Star. He has a movie coming out about his life focusing on the teenage years. So is this now something past this? You want to be in this business as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be a creator of content. You want to tell stories that, that you can identify with, that can inspire people. Like, I think that's what it's all about. And, being a content creator, You know, I love that space. I love, getting down and dirty and telling stories that people are kind of, tentative to talk about.
I think it'd also be cool on a business card. Content creator.
No question.
That's awesome.
Two-time All-Star, content creator in a movie. Now, I should have checked if you've actually seen The Shape of Water.
Oh, I did not.
Okay, all right.
Don't.
Could have been the tiebreaker. Did you have a favorite movie from last year? 3 Billboards Outside of Missouri, Dunkirk, Lady Bird, any of those?
Dunkirk. I like that.
Dunkirk
was really good. It really was.
Don't watch the Fishman movie.
Why? Why? Though?
Oh,
why? Like I heard you guys arguing about it when I came in here. Like what? It
was awful. It's a
Beautiful
fishman with a relationship with a woman, and just the dumbest situations of a bathroom filling up with water to them.
It's a metaphor for how outsiders should be welcomed.
What was the metaphor of them dancing of the stupid scene where they were ballroom dancing?
Would appreciate it's a love letter to old movies,
the body
old
of
cinemas,
it.
the body of work, exactly.
Oh, you know when I appreciated that movie most? When it was over.
The problem is this: if Golic
I stood up and clapped.
If Golic doesn't have snacks with him, then he gets grumpy.
If
he was in the movie, he had milk duds and popcorn, he would have been fine. But he was watching it with his daughter. She also hated it.
Yeah, she rented it without my knowledge, and then I
you mean your daughter didn't like it?
No, I said, "What the hell did you do?" when she rented this thing.
You have homework. The next time you come back, you have to see The Shape of
I'm
Water.
Gonna watch
you decide
because I'm gonna have to tweet you or something. Talk about it for my burner account.
Who wins, Warriors or Cavs, and how many games?
I got the Warriors winning in 5.
There you go.
Gentlemen sweet.
Thanks,
two-time NBA All-Star, Caron Butler. He is terrific, and look forward to this movie. Yes! I'll tell you, my guy catches on fast.
Golic
makes me want to vomit and then punch you square in the face.
and Wingo.
Oh, he's saucy today.
See, we told this story before. We wanted to tell it again, but Jerry had some time to work on something here. But I'm of where this could possibly lead to. I'm not going to lie. I'm stunned at this, but Jerry took it to a new level.
So I have my son's Little League team as a number 1 seed. We went 1-8 as a bench coach. This year it's been a much different story. Honestly, it's a story that can inspire.
What if I told you no comeback is too little, even in this league?
I don't know who the comeback player of the year is this year, but I know who the comeback coach of the year.
And who would that be?
It's me.
That a poor man's Chris Chelios is a baseball coach.
This season, Rob Hanawalt, West Hartford Youth Baseball League. He said, you know what? All right, he's got drive, he's got determination. Let's make him a boss. Sylvan Learning Center. I'm now the manager.
That even a team of 8-year-olds can focus on what's most important in life.
And we've just seen a renewed dedication to winning.
That it's not how your season starts, it's what you threaten to take away.
There's no Big League Chew either, for that matter. I banned that. Told you, not any seeds? No more seeds. You win first and you get seeds after. I'll buy the Gatorade. I'll take you to Chuck E. Cheese.
That even Adam Amin can stand tall.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sylvan Learning Center is the number 1 seed at 8-4.
Wow.
Golic and Wingo Laboratories presents the fake 30 for 30 podcast. Excuse me, Mr. Chelios. Can I get a picture? The Adnan Virk's Little League team story.
That is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show up with a Chelios jersey. A Chelios Red Wings jersey for the final game.
I am embarrassed. I am just embarrassed.
One of the other managers told me this idea. He goes, the championship game, he goes, get one of those big ESPN banners, and he goes, hang it out in the outfield. I go, why? He goes, the kids will get unnerved. The other team will think, oh, we're going to be on ESPN. I'm like, that is a smart idea.
Are you hated in this league? Seriously, are you hated in this league? Do people talk about you in this league?
Beloved by the other managers.
Oh, I don't believe you one bit. I don't believe you one bit. You have to be hated.
As you know, well known at this level, by the way, walks are a killer. Like
killer when you first start kicking.
The first question Mike said to me, he goes, how's the league going? You go, how many walks?
Yeah.
It's brutal sometimes. Just get the ball over, throw strikes.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if they had just get the ball over the plate.
And let's have some fun. Brett Parada, who is a man of words, has the perfect word to describe my managerial style, which is quite frankly controversial.
Okay, so there's a term that a Cubs blogger came up with 10 years ago called toot bland.
Who?
Toot bland. It's an acronym, and I think that Adnan's coaching style for the base running is really lines up with this. Toot bland stands for thrown out on the base paths like a nincompoop.
Ah, so that's bad base running.
When you get a toot bland on Adnan's team,
you do 20 push-ups.
Okay. You know what? The kids might kind of like that term. Oh, we're tooting again. Okay, 20 push-ups. Let's go. I like it. Because they'll get excited. I'll get excited too. Let's do some more push-ups. Toot bland.
I would like to privately, with none of your 20 coaches there, talk to your team and in a private moment ask them if they're actually enjoying themselves.
Well, it's interesting because Cora and Booney had said to me, they go, listen, managerial style is often about personalities. Get to know them a little bit. And I said, they're 8, 9, and 10. What am I supposed to, what's your favorite subject?
Yeah.
Did you get in trouble today?
Yeah.
I don't care about that stuff.
So other than that, you just take things away from them and threaten them with push-ups.
Mike, listen, we live in a society now. Everyone gets a ribbon. Everyone gets a trophy. Not our team. We're going to win. When we win, you know how happy you're going to be for me?
No, I am truly rooting for the other team. I am absolutely, positively rooting for the other team. I will stand on the mountaintop screaming for who's the second place team?
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Dick's Sporting Goods. Love Dick's Sporting Goods. I am rooting for Dick's Sporting Goods to take you down a notch.
Could you imagine, like, if there's a controversial play in that championship game, if we make it, I get tossed. Like, I won't know what to do with myself.
Be unbelievable. And by the way, in that 30 for 30, what a nice little underlying shot at Adam Amin, huh?
No, that's unbelievable. Poor Adam Amin. Guy's doing an unbelievable job.
Doing a great job. Well. You just throw a dart at him.
Oh, anyways, great stuff there from Jerry. And
wow.
I know Mike is not on our side. I know the show. By the way, you guys are all invited. You want to come out this week and support the team? We'd love to have clips there.
I'm afraid you'd make all of us do push-ups.
Can you imagine Parada's hulking presence there? My guys will not want to mess up.
So you want to go with the intimidation factor. You want to bring us all there to intimidate other 10-year-olds.
I tried to go the other way. It didn't work. Backslapping, support, doesn't work.
Wow.
Go ahead, Cliff. No?
I had nothing to say.
I understand.
I won't be there either.
To say.
This has been the Best of Golic and Wingo podcast. You can listen or subscribe on the ESPN app, Apple Podcasts, or just ask your smart speaker to play Golic and Wingo. Plus, you can check the guys out live weekday mornings from 6 to 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN News.